do something funny. Hello, everybody. Donna Weinheim. Um, if Adam Eisen is out there from the One Club, he's going to be horrified. Wait till he sees my speech. He's 40 pages. Don't worry, Adam. Yeah. All right. Anyway, they say a musician says that he doesn't choose the instrument chooses him. And that was what happened to me with advertising. I was so lucky to be in advertising. The shoe just fit. It was perfect. I started out in the paste-up room at Ogilvy and Mather, and I saw people bringing, I needed a job, and people bringing ads in. I didn't know what advertising was even at that. And I said, this is so great. This is something I would love to do. Look at these TV commercials, putting boards together, print ads. It was fantastic. And Harvey Gabor came into this was Ogilvy at the time. And Harvey Gabor came in and he said, I asked him, I said, how do you know what a good ad is? And he said, well, a good ad has heart. And if you have to ask, then you shouldn't be in advertising. But it just suited me. It was the perfect thing to ever do. I don't know where my speech is, Adam, so don't be mad at me. Oh, here it is. But then I thought this would be funny, but maybe it won't be. Adam, look, here's my speech, 40 pages. What do you think? Are you guys, can you get through this? Or Adam's gonna have a heart attack right now. But, it was the perfect job. I'm not saying I was a genius. I just knew that I loved it. When you love something, it'll pay you forward. You just love to work on it. And my dad, you guys are so great. I don't know. You guys are, my dad always said, we grew up really poor, and he said, look, you're gonna have to work for a living and make sure you choose something you love to do. Because if you love to do it, it will never feel like work. And don't think about money. Don't go for money. If you're good at it, money will come, but it doesn't matter. If you're working every day at something you love to do, you'll never feel like you were working. And he was right. So that's how I felt in Everett. It was fantastic. So I was trying to condense this because Adam will kill me. I know he will. I know he will. Look, I have 34 pages. Yeah, so I'm going to try to make you laugh. I've got really juicy stories. I'll try to, and I really will get into it. But I was. Helene Spivak is the funniest woman in advertising, and I know that for a fact. So I love her so much. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So I ended up in this. It was 1972 when I ended up at Ogilvy. I was promoted out of the paste-up room into David Scott's group. Some of you will know, how it worked at Ogilvy, but there was no women there. There was there was a woman secretary who was very smart and great, and I was the assistant art director. And I came from, I went to Woodstock, so, and I wore very short skirts and army boots. You didn't care what you looked. And I started getting this weird routine from the men. They'd throw a pencil in front of me and say, Donna, I dropped my pencil, can you pick it up? And I was so naive, I did that 3 times before I really, wait a minute, wait a damn minute, this can't be happening. So boy, did I, and I was dying to do television, and I hope nobody is offended by this, because my mother was Catholic, my father was Jewish, most wonderful man in the world. And we had Mercedes-Benz and Menley and James. Those were 2 clients only. And we think they did 1 Mercedes-Benz ad a year, and I was dying to do television. So I'm in the room at David Scott, and all the Mercedes-Benz clients were in there. And I asked my dad before I did this, I said, Dad, you're Jewish, and I'm half Jewish, so I love, it doesn't matter. And I said, do you find this offensive? I told him my idea. He said, no, it's not offensive. People should be more open-minded. It's very funny and it's great. So I'm naive enough and stupid enough to, after they presented their ideas, I stand up because I'm holding the storyboards and said, excuse me, but I have a great idea for Mercedes-Benz. I said, they wanted to feature a sports car and its performance. It's always about performance in cars, with a new car. And I said, there's this car going down all these beautiful hills with all the dust coming up and making hair turn to spins and everything it does, you know, and a super comes up somewhere in Argentina. And then you guys are unbelievably quick. You know where this is going already. I don't even have to tell you what. Oh my God, talk about. And I said, and then you cut to a little town that the beautiful red sports car is driving through, and you see the lace curtain parting, and you see, this was 1972, so 30 years later after World War II, someone who looks like a 30-year older, you know who he is, Hitler, like looking at the car and tears coming down his eyes. Now, I had the nerve. First of all, I did two things wrong. I didn't ask permission to present that. And number two, I just went on my merit. I said, I'm going to do this, and let's see where it goes. Oh, you guys are, what an audience. Oh, don't get me started. We'll be here. Adam's going to kill me. I'll be here for 20 minutes. So I look at the Mercedes-Benz clients, and I looked at their face. I said, oh, my God, I am fired. There's no question. The horror, the look in their face. I said, oh. My creative director, David Scott, older gent, was really cool, of course, and he said, okay, we're done now, guys. Everybody, we're finished. Didn't say a word to me. I said, this could really go bad. But, didn't. I just stayed there, but didn't get enough work to do. So I went to, this is weird, I went to Rosser Reeves himself, he was retired already, opened his own little agency, I think for his son. So I was hired there as an assistant, again, the only woman in the, group. And one time I had to, his secretary said, Donna, can you go to the 21 Club and go give this to Rosser? It's an envelope and you have to deliver it to him. I said, okay. So I get there and Rosser Reeves is sitting with Bill Bernbach and David Ogilvy at this table. And I, now I'm loving advertising because these are my stars and I'm standing there forever. I was saying, I hope they let me sit down. And finally Rosser says, I'll see you back at the agency, Donna. Thank you for the envelope. I said, okay, So Rosser gave me his book, Realities in Advertising. He said, Donna, if you do everything this book says to do, you too will have $1 million. But when Rosser Reeves folded without the $1 million, I was out of work. And so I went, that's what I mean. Don't get discouraged, anybody, if you're young. Keep going. The number one, just don't get, number one rule, all of you wonderfully will agree. The number one rule is never give up. You never give up, now, whether it's coming up with an idea, whether it's, you always go for what you want to, you'll do it. So I got a job at Dancer Fitzgerald Sample in Stan Becker's group. And Stan looks at my book. He said, this is the best book I've ever seen in my whole life and also the worst book I've ever seen in my whole life. So I'm so intrigued, I'm going to have to hire you because I don't, know what you're about. This is really interesting. And Cliff Freeman worked there at the time. And there were two creative directors. Cliff Freeman was one, and I'm not going to name him, second guy. And I had a writer, Rick something, I don't know. And we go into the other guy's, office, and the writer is always presenting the work. And the art director stands there and holds the story. I know it sounds weird, but And at the end of it, the creative director would only address the writer because he's presenting the script. And I said at the end of it, I said, excuse me, but we're a team. And you don't know who came up with the idea. And as a team, it's supposed to be equal, 50-50. As a team, you both did the idea, whether it was the writer or the art director, it doesn't matter. And so you should be addressing me too. And he said, okay. He said, Rick, great copy, Donna, great ass. I swear, yeah. Everything I'm saying is absolutely true. You couldn't make this stuff up, So then we go into Cliff for presenting something else, and Cliff, I gave him the same spiel, Cliff, and Cliff thought for a second. He looks up at the ceiling and he said, Donna, you're right. That'll never happen again. I will give you equal attention to the idea that you bring in with your partner. That's what a partnership is supposed to be, right? Yeah, partnership, Not that one guy did the idea or one girl did the idea. It's supposed to be both of you if you're a partnership. So Cliff was really cool. I really liked him. And then his art director quit. And he said, Donna, I want you to be my partner until I find someone up to my level. Come on, he's Cliff Freeman. Okay. But we worked together for 12 years after that. And how can I complain? Cliff was very respectful towards women. He was really smart. We just thought the same way. He was great. He was great. How can you argue? Your writer is Cliff Freeman, and you're the art director. It was perfect. Was wonderful. Perfect marriage, and we did Where's the Beef together. And I'm just totally honest. The magic of Where's the Beef was Clara Peller. You can't argue that. I mean, I know for a fact because we tested little old men because the client wanted men to have more beef, and Clara Peller with the little old ladies, and Joe Settlemeyer, who shot it, found Clara Peller, and I believe she made it magic. And for a long time, Cliff Freeman and Settlemeyer would argue who took the word. It was supposed to be where's all the beef? Who took all out? Who cares? Clara Peller couldn't hear. She was hard of hearing, so somebody had to pinch her under the camera to say the line, and she shortened it and said, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?" That was, and she did really well, and it tested better than the little old men. Tested through the roof, and she made it magic. It was, and Settlemeyer did a great job. So it was all great. Yeah. So I tell the true story because nobody really knows how. And then I come up with the Russian fashion show, which is my favorite spot. And that was my baby. And I said, oh. And I told Cliff, I said, you know what? And it tested really well. I did the animatic and after all the, and I said, I love Joe Settlemeyer, but I really don't want it shot in an 8x10 room, with a wide-angle lens. This should be a real fashion show, and it should be, a grand scheme of things. And I wanted Joe Pitka or Ridley Scott to shoot it. And Cliff said, well, I don't think we have that in the budget. I said, no, but it would be much better. And then he talked to Settlemeyer, and he said, Joe said he's going to shoot it off set. He's going to shoot it in a big Chicago country club, which he did. He did a fantastic job. He put an ad in the local paper for 100 cleaning ladies to show up where they all wore gray. And I'm there on the set, and he did a fantastic, it was great. And before he started shooting, he was up in a cherry picker trying to shoot the whole crowd. And I said to Cliff, no, this is not, I didn't draw it like this. Everybody in the crowd, I don't care if the people on the, coming out showing the fashion, but everyone in the crowd should have a babushka tied under their chin. I'm half Russian, so I know that's how it has to be. That's how it should look. And Cliff said, oh, I'm not going to tell him, you tell him. So I'm like this, Settlemeyer's way up there, and I'm going like this, clicking my fingers. He's looking at me for the longest time, like, what do you want me to do? Finally, he comes down, pneumatic cherry picker, comes down, he's eye to eye with me, and he was like, just staring at me. I said, no, Joe, this is not right. They have to have their babushkas tied under their chin. You know how it is. And he's just still staring at me like I thought he was going to kill me with this megaphone. But he went back up, and he told everyone to tie the babushkas under the chin, and we moved forward, and he did a great job, and it was all great. And I was very disappointed about Russian fashion, because I said, this is going to be the campaign of my first wonderful campaign. Jimmy Chusky in Russia, where all the shoes are army boots with red soles. Only women would know the red soles part. And, Russian car salesmen and all that kind of, there were so many great things to do. And that was fine, but 6 months later, the Russians made us take it off the air. Gorbachev was in charge, and he complained to the U.S. government that it was insulting to Russians, and that was the end of Russian fashion show. So we were done. So what are you going to do? That's okay. We'll survive, right? It's all good. It's all great. It's all good. But I did want to have three people stand out in my experience in advertising who really helped me through the business. And one was Cliff Freeman. I have to give him credit for all the things, wonderful things he did and said. And Ted Sand, when I went to BBDO, well, I'll get there. And yeah, he was wonderful. And my dad, so I'll get to my dad in a second. But I had a great time with Cliff. We'd pitch a lot of new business. That's if you're small, we weren't really a small agency. Nobody knows it. We're really part of Saatchi & Saatchi, and was a glorified group called Cliff Freeman and Partners. We were still part of a big agency. But we pitched a lot of things, and the Hills department store client came in, and Cliff said, we're going to present a commercial to you. And Cliff and I presented it, and we're presenting to the guy, and he's just staring. And I whispered to Cliff, this doesn't look good. I don't think it's like the commercial. No budget, so it was simple. Kids, why come to Hills department store, children's sale? Kids do grow out of things. Nothing fit the kids and stuff. So at the end of it, he just stared, and he said, well, I guess you guys know what you're doing. And then Cliff told me afterwards, he said, Donna's going to be your creative director. He said, I don't want a woman coming in the office and being my creative director who looks like she didn't brush her hair in the morning, which I still don't look like I did. And Cliff stuck up for me, and he said, no, she's your creative director. If you want us, she's the one that does the work for you, and that's how it's going to. I thought that was great. Cliff was really beyond. Cliff deserves that credit. He really does. He was great. Cliff was funny. He was wonderful. He was, he'd come in my office. He goes, got anything? All I have to tell Cliff is one idea. I said, I got it. I got the idea. He trusted me totally. He said, okay. And he'd have a funny look. I'd tell him the idea. Go, Cliff was theatrical. That's it. That's the idea. And I didn't have to present a lot of other ideas. Okay. I end up going to BBDO. Why? I didn't want to leave Cliff, but I got a really good job opportunity after 12 years to work on Pepsi, and that was kind of exciting. And then I got cold feet, and I told my dad, who was living with me at the time. He was in his 80s, and he said, Donna, I know you don't want to leave Cliff and all the people you know there and how comfortable you are. Clients love you, even Wendy's client loved me, Little Caesar's client. It was great. You can't. And my dad said, you owe it to yourself to try other pastures and try something different and go for it. And you owe yourself that, and why not try it? So I said, oh, okay, I'm going to go. So I went to BBDO, and Ted Sand hired me. I don't know if I'll find this in here, but I'll just go with it. Ted hired me based on my reel, and also based on an ad week thing they did every week promoting some advertising person. And it was like their own little bio. But I totally had fun with it. So I said, I'm 113 years old. I come from Pakistan. I had Cliff's grandmother's picture up there. And it said, what are some of your famous slogans? I said, Tippy Canoe and Tyler too, and I like Ike. I was just totally fooling with him. So, what is your best advertising experience? I said, coming up with the slogan for Coca-Cola, I love Coca-Cola. What's the worst mistake you ever made? In 1923, telling the Coca-Cola company, leave the cocaine in, who's gonna know? And that I wrote this whole, and then it said, you guys are amazing. Can I do stand-up for you? So then it said, what's your favorite movie? I said, am I rolling along? No, I have a long time to go. Oh, okay. What's your favorite movie? It's a Wonderful Life, director's cut, which is full frontal nudity, which is, oh boy, it's a wonderful life. I just kept having fun with it, and then Ted Sand saw that in Ad Week, and he also saw my reel, And he hired me right off the bat. And that was Ted Sand. He was great. He was he was very good for women too. He had a much bigger agency to run. And I go to BBDO and wow, that was a whole different culture. In 1 month, I told my dad, you know, I think I have to go back to Cliff. This is like really hard to work. It's really hard to work at BBDO. I can't. And my dad said, you know, Donna, don't listen to anyone. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Stand up at home plate and hit the ball out of the park the way you know how to do. You could do. That was my dad. So I'm giving my dad tribute. I'm trying to shorten it. So it's all good. And that gave me a lot of impetus, though. I said, oh, that's going to be my attitude. Watch out, guys, you know. It was pretty tough. One time we were working on a Sunday. I'll just call this one guy that I had to report to. I'll call him the little boss, because I don't want to mention any names or say anything wrong. And we're working on Doritos, for a campaign for Doritos. And I'm working by myself, and I didn't have a partner, and it didn't matter, you know. And I said, wow, I know the way this place works now. I can't just present one idea like with Cliff. I have to present 50 ideas to get one through, and you can do anything if you have. But I'll just take a steno pad, because I don't type, I'm not a writer, I'll just put a little, you know, code name like dog with, you know, rain hat on or something, I don't know, squirrel jumps over the, whatever it is. And I'll know what to present because I'll know what the idea is. It's a little cute for me and write many more ideas than if I had to type up every script. So I go in on a Sunday, start presenting the ideas to Little Boss, and Ted Sand comes. It was raining that day, and he's standing in the doorway with the yellow slicker on and a hat, pouring water off of. And the Little Boss says, Ted, she's got nothing. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. All right, let me speed it up. I'll talk faster.
Much faster.
Much faster.
Yeah.
I'll be so fast you won't believe it. I'll just tell this one. Two more stories and I'm done.
I love you. No, one more.
All right. Okay. Look, Adam's like Adam, can you? Adam, I told you not to. I'm not done yet.
We've got to go.
I'm almost
way,
done.
way over.
No, 2 more minutes. 1 minute. So Ted says, let me see your, I'm going to come back. Ted comes back and looks at the steno pad. He's leafing through it, and I kind of start babbling. Ted, you're not going to understand anything that's in there, because just little code words, you know, squirrel with rain hat, or whatever the hell it was. And Ted's looking through it, and he said, okay, to the Little Boss. He said, you can all go home now. She's got the campaign. And even I said, well, what was it? What did I write in there? It was life without Doritos, life with Doritos. But I got to work on the whole campaign, so that was pretty cool. You want me to get off, don't you?
We have to go.
No. Well, wait a minute. Where's your hook? You don't have a hook?
I'm not.
I'm not. I'm only half done. I got more.
I know, but
Look,